Newcastle United are leading the race to sign Marc Guehi. That is a name that all Newcastle fans will be familiar with. This may be the third summer window they will be heavily linked with him. Arsenal, according to Give Me Sport, have entered the race to sign Rayan Cherki or Kirky. I apologise if I butchered his name. What a talent he is. And a familiar name is yet again linked with Tottenham. A player that should have been a Tottenham player 5 years ago, Jack Grealish. According to sources, many years ago, Grealish was in a hotel in Birmingham about to sign a contract with Tottenham, but Daniel Levy did not want to pay the £30 million. He signs for Man City the year later for 100 mil, goes and wins Premier Leagues, goes and wins trebles, and yet we still haven't won anything. We've got a massive game tonight, second upload of the day. We'll be back here after the Europa League games. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do butcher that subscribe button. The second channel is under 50 subs off of 1K, which is nuts, considering we've not even put 10 videos on there. And we are closing in on 52,000. We're about 150 away. So please go down and hit that subscribe button. We're going to start with the Newcastle United news. I firmly believe if Newcastle United bring in a centre-back and maybe bring in another forward and a creative midfielder, they're not a million miles away from consistently hitting top four. Alexander Isak, Gordon, look at what Barnes has done this season. Bruno G, Tonali for me, one of the best central midfielders in the world. Dan Burns been immense this season. You throw Guehi in. I think if they were to sign Guehi and Buemo, that would be an unbelievable bit of business for them. The Sun have put out Newcastle United are leading the race to sign Crystal Palace captain Marc Guehi this summer ahead of Chelsea, Tottenham and City. Now, Chelsea, of course, had a lot of interest in him in January, of course, ex-Chelsea player. Newcastle have forever been linked with Marc Guehi. For me, he's one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. He's 24 years of age. He's very consistent, doesn't really miss a huge amount of games, and has 1 year left on his contract in the summer. You know, his contract would expire June 30th, 2026. If Newcastle United get Premier League football, it's going to be very difficult for them to essentially be very difficult for Palace to turn down the money, because that extra money of getting Champions League football and the fact that they've just won silverware, and Chelsea may not finish top 4, top 5. You look at the Premier League table now, there's only 2 points between them, but Newcastle are above City, are above Chelsea, are above Forest, are above Spurs and all the other clubs linked with him. And Newcastle have had to be very reluctant in terms of, that's probably not the right word, very, I would say, kind of low risk in the transfer window, not going out and spending huge amounts of money, more risk averse. This window, the likelihood is they are going to be in the Champions League, although there's only 2 points between 6th and 3rd, which is crazy. I do back them to get in the top 4. You look at the fixtures they've got remaining. They're at home against Chelsea, which of course is a 6-pointer. They've got Brighton away. They've got Everton at home. I do believe they will probably go to Arsenal and get something as well, because Arsenal may be in a Champions League final by then. I predict Newcastle United to get 10 points out of their remaining possible 12. And then he will be a very good option for to join Newcastle. And you think you bring in him, they've been heavily linked to players like Buemo. I think they could have a very good summer window, Arsenal are keeping tabs on Rayan Cherki. Now, that is coming out from Give Me Sport. He is, of course, a top player. We saw him against Manchester United in the Champions League. 8 goals and 10 assists in 27 games in Ligue. We know his quality as a midfielder that can play anywhere in the front three, really, predominantly. His record in a Lyon shirt is very good. 44 assists and 29 goals in 182 games. Already played 182 games for Lyon. In the Europa League, 17 GA in 16 games. In Ligue 1, 38 GA in 143, just 21 years of age. Of course, will be 22 this summer. Contract expires, again, the same as Guehi, June 30th, 2026. Against Man United, we saw the technique on his finish. You know, this season has been very, very, very good. 12 GA in. I mean, look at his numbers this season in a Lyon shirt, both in the Europa League, in Ligue 1. Look, 12 GA in 12 in the Europa League, 18 GA in 27 in Ligue 1, 1 assist in 2 games in the Coupe de France. He's a top player. That's someone that Arsenal should be looking at. You bring in him. You may be bringing a Gyökeres. You may be bringing a Zubimendi. I know a lot of Arsenal fans right now are down in the dumps. I do honestly think that they will, if they get this recruitment right this summer, I do think they will win the league. You know, they're very, very close. 90 minutes away from potentially being in the Champions League final. But questions will be asked about Arteta. Can he get them over the line? Is he good enough? Etc. etc. These players as well. Martin Odegaard being heavily criticised. Another semi-final where he has not delivered. You think about the FA Cup this season, misses the penalty against Man United. Semi-final against Newcastle. But Rayan Cherki, according to Court of Side, Cherki's price tag is seen relatively modest for a player of his calibre and is considered. While no shortage of suitors in Italy and Germany, the Frenchman views Premier League as his preferred location. It then goes on to say Arsenal are eyeing reinforcements for Mikel's forward options this summer and have placed a new number among their options of top priorities. Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyökeres are believed among targets, while Alexander Isak is unlikely. And then you look at his numbers. I mean, he's a top player and would be whoever he signs for, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Manchester City, if they go in for him, or he does decide to join a Spanish club or an Italian club. These are elite, by the way. Whoever he signs for, it's going to be a top bit of business. He is a quality player and got all of the attributes to go to the very, very, very top. You know, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think that he will sign for Arsenal or whoever? Who do you think he'll sign for? And the last bit of, in terms of the transfer window I wanted to talk about is Jack Grealish, who yet again is being linked with a move to Tottenham. Now, lots of people have been talking about, has Guardiola ruined him in terms of because he's a very systematic manager and Jack Grealish needs freedom to play. Now, this was 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago, this report come out, and there's another report today. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Newcastle and Tottenham are all interested in signing Jack Grealish this summer, and Man City are willing to sell for around £40 million. I'd take him for 30 mil. 1,000%. I think he'd be a better creative player than a lot of the players we linked to. Man City will not accept loan offers for Jack Grealish this summer, who is wanted by both Aston Villa and Spurs. So look, there is a return to Aston Villa on the horizon. They may finish in the Champions League spots. You know, right now in terms of the Champions League, right now they're currently 7th, and they have played a game extra than Nottingham Forest. You know, I honestly believe that they'll be in the Europa League next season. Does Jack Grealish want to move back to Aston Villa? Does he want to move to Spurs? We may be in the Champions League, and if we win the Europa League, I think we're a better option to choose than Aston Villa. For starters, we can offer probably better wages plus Champions League football. But does he want to leave? It's going to be a very, very big and busy upcoming transfer window. Let me know your thoughts on all the stories. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button. The one that really interests me is Guehi to Newcastle. Like I said, if they get this done right, if they bring in Buemo, Guehi, Newcastle will be a force next year. I will see you all in the next one. I am out.